Sweet. Hey, Courtney, just first time really this year that y'all have been in a close game that you had to win. Just what do you think it says about the team to kind of just find a way today?
I was really proud of them for just staying the course, and it was a really gritty win. Wins are going to look really different. Um, that was the Northwestern we were expecting. They're tough, they're hard nosed, they throw a lot of punches, they're fighters, and so we that's the version that we got today, and we were expecting that. I think that I'm just happy we found a way to win. It was gritty, it was not pretty. There was times that it wasn't characteristic of who we are. But we stayed the course and found a way to come out with a W.
I know y'all have another weekend of these non-conference, a lot of games in one weekend, but I know whenever conference play rolls around, you talked about how much Sunday is just kind of a gut check at that point where you've seen each other so much. Um, what do you hope this does for the team, looking ahead to the future a little bit to have played a Sunday game where you've already seen the team a lot and you just really had to kind of find a way?
Yeah, Sunday's about toughness. No matter what you're doing going in, and you've won the series or you're 1-1 or you're down two, it's about toughness. It's about just throwing as many punches as it takes. They're making adjustments on their side. We have to make adjustments on our side. And so yeah, I hope it's something we can log away and use as we get into the conference slate and then hopefully beyond, But I think that's the form, like how this format of this weekend will pay us back later.
You said, Sundays are about toughness, especially on a day like today, I would assume, with the how cold it was, the wind, everything. How do you think that impacted the game today? Just all the elements.
Well, however it impacted it, everyone's playing in the same conditions. So, I think that, we're not used to playing in that, but it doesn't matter. That's the conditions that we're in. That's the nature of outdoor sports. Sometimes you have a lot of the, elements that are going to just make you have to adjust, make you have to maybe be tougher, whatever we have to do, but everyone's in the same conditions. So we just have to figure out a way.
Y'all, it was, a couple innings whenever made that comeback to tie it up. It was like y'all were just kind of missing the big hit with some runners on base. Then Tao comes up and gives you it there in the fifth. Just what do you think of that at bat from her and the adjustments made? Because if I'm not mistaken, it was a pretty lengthy.
Yeah, it was a great at bat. I thought that, in that middle stretch where they tied it back up, I still could feel us. Offensively, I could feel us all day. And we made some hard outs, and that's the game sometimes of it just not falling. And you just have to continue to let that just fuel your confidence. Talia was seeing it really well. It was a longer at bat, but you could just feel her timing. You could feel that she was seeing it really well. And you felt like she was going to hit it hard somewhere. I didn't know that. I didn't have it out on that. I mean, she hit it so well. I was feeling definitely more of like a gap shot or anything, but she had a really great at bat. I thought our offense did a great job today.
And specifically Ramsey came in and she provided y'all a big boost, right before Tal home run. That was, I think, a first pitch swing for her on the double. Just what do you think of her today?
I mean, Ramsey today is what Ramsey's been doing all year for us. She's just swinging it really confidently. She's seeing it really well. Whether she's deep in a count or early, she's just, she knows what pitch she's hunting and she's ready when it shows up. And um, she's she's having some really big at bats for us.
What did you think of Cam's start? And then just, I guess, the rest of the pitchers to come in and just grind it out.
Yeah, I thought Cam's start was great. I thought she was grinding a little bit more than she needed to. Maybe just trying to be a little too perfect at times instead of just trusting her stuff. And I think she just got into a little trouble of just like kind of nitpicking a little bit and just throwing too many pitches and not necessarily working into pitchers' counts. And they got a couple like single shots there. It's just part of the game. And so I liked how she started. When we had the bigger inning, she wasn't herself as much when she got back out there, but that's the day sometimes. And you go to say, and like she's didn't throw enough strikes, and you go to Rob, and she ended up finishing it for us. And it's just going to look different every day. They're going to give us everything they have, and um, took what it took today.
Yeah. The play where Reagan, got, they had the error and she got to round all the bases. What was the discussion there as far as, like it looked like the ball got stuck behind the tarp and there was some like confusion, it seemed like on the field of what the ruling should.
Well, it's tough because you don't get the full explanation after the review. What they said was that they didn't like it worked its way behind our tarp. There's like an opening there, and they didn't call it dead, but the defender put her hands up. Well, then once it came to play, she touched the ball, and so they couldn't see if it was really lodged or not. And I don't know what the explanation is out of the review. The review, there wasn't enough for them to overturn it, but they on the field called it as a live ball. And so um, I don't know. I haven't seen the angles. I don't know what that's tough. That's a tough angle back behind the tarp. But that's probably a play where it's going to be important how the call was made on the field. It's going to be a tough one to overturn. I don't know. I'll try to find the angles. I was curious too. I was just really, in my 11 years, that's the first time that's happened.
Yeah. It seems like that was kind of a theme this week that y'all really needed to capitalize on errors from the other team. Just what do you think of that aspect of, if they give you another chance at something, that how much y'all gotta, make the opponent.
Yeah, I think we're a tough offense to give more swings, and so that's any offense is tough. We gave a few more swings today than we typically do, even though there weren't any errors on the board. There's just some plays out there that we could have made and could have squashed some of their momentum, and that's what we typically do. But just like Northwestern, I don't want to give them any extra swings, and I can't imagine they want to give us extra swings. So when they get us to hit into an out, you're going to want to make those plays. Otherwise, you're just putting momentum in the other dugout.
One more, Ethan.
Yeah, I'll end on this. Just a weekend where you win every game, but there's still, obviously teaching points. How much do you just need this team, I guess, to be able to learn from the wins and it not have to take a loss this year? How much are you hoping you can get out of this weekend?
Well, I hope that we're the competitors that want to fine tune our craft no matter the outcome. And I think that's the thing that we always work for is what is it going to look like? How are we going to play the game? How are we going to approach it? And then we're going to measure our standard to those things, not necessarily the outcomes, because we do feel like when we take care of those things, a lot of times the outcome falls in our favor. And so it's nice to win to learn from a win. Sometimes with this crew, sometimes with this age, maybe they don't get the lessons quite as much, but they're going to hear it from us. So they'll get it one way or another, because there are things that we definitely need to fix moving into next weekend and into conference time.
Sweet. Thank you, Courtney.
Thanks, Ethan.
Thank you, Ethan. Thank you, Coach.
You got it.